We're in with Richard Worker from the legal team.
Hi,
Thanks
Nick.
so much for coming in, mate.
Great
Appreciate
pleasure.
your time. Listen, another question here for you. I want to sell an investment property. Will I need to pay tax? And what is the Brightline test that I hear so much about?
Right, good question. And actually it's reasonably simple. Do talk to your lawyer, but also talk to your accountant. Very, very important. As a rule, you probably don't have to pay tax.
Right.
And that's ordinary tax in the sense that if you make a profit, on most things you pay tax, but on residential property you don't. However, going back a way, there may be some depreciation recovered to pay on that, so that's a tax that you have to pay. But your accountant will be able to tell you, and it depends how long you've owned the property, because depreciation has been taken out of a lot of buildings now, and so if you haven't depreciated, you won't have to pay any depreciation recovered. But as a rule, you don't actually have to pay tax unless you're in that actual business of buying and selling property.
Sure.
Then it's your business, and of course you have to pay tax.
Yeah.
The Brightline test was something that was brought in about 10 years ago, and it's a quasi capital gains tax.
Yeah.
And basically it started that if you bought and sold residential property, this is within 2 years, then yes, you paid tax on the profit that you made on that sale. And it moved from 2 years to 5 years and then to 10 years. Whether one agrees with it or not is irrelevant in the sense that that is what the law is. However, this government has now brought that Brightline test back from 10 years to 2 years. The trap in that is that you have to enter into your sale agreement after the 1st of July in order for it to be a 2-year timeline. Yeah,
Right.
so anything going forward from now, if you enter into a sale agreement now, then yes, it's 2 years.
Okay.
And there are little rules as to when the 2 years starts or when the 2 years ends, in the sense that if you bought a property, it's the start of the 2 years is not when you entered into an agreement, but it's actually when the property was transferred to you in the Land Information New Zealand Land Transfer Office.
Yes.
But the end of the 2 years is when you enter into an unconditional contract. So that's sort of that time is shortened down somewhat. And the other thing with it is that it is a capital gains tax, but it's not a set capital gains tax, because the tax you pay is actually on your income. So it's so the rate can be as high as 39%. Most countries have a capital gains tax, and it could be 20% or 25% or whatever. But with the Brightline test, with the tax on the Brightline test, it's actually on your income. And if you made that profit is also brought into your income for the year. So you actually can jump up into that 39% tax rate quite quickly.
Interesting. Yeah.
However, it's now 2 years, and so most people don't. And your principal home, your principal residence was always exempted from that Brightline test.
Yeah, great. I think that's cleared up a lot, actually. Thank you so much for that. Richard
Great
Worker
pleasure.
from the legal team.